Happy Monday. It's the first day of fall, if I'm correct, Ken.
It is indeed.
Sweet mother of goodness.
Now, I don't know if it's actually fall yet. Let me check to see what hour.
Oh, yeah, we need to know that because I don't want to give you guys false information.
What time exactly is fall 2025?
What time do we have to be at Stonehenge?
Yeah, exactly. 2:19 Middle Tennessee time. So that'll be in a little over an hour. It will officially be fall in all of Middle Tennessee.
All right, I'm excited. I'm about to get my parka.
Oh, yeah?
Starting to cool down a little bit.
I just got my shorts.
Yeah, I do too. It's nice out there. I'll tell you that right now. It's gorgeous out there. We've got some rain coming this week, I see.
Yeah, looks like 3 days of it at least.
Ooh.
Off and on showers. Storms might get a little lively at times. I don't think anything severe, but then again, you know where we live.
Yes, I do.
So
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for us to get it back in here at night.
no, I don't want that.
Oh, you know it's going to happen.
Oh, well, yeah.
You can smell it. Yeah, it's coming. That fall is in the air. Oh, goodness me. What a weekend. Tell you what, I watched Erica. That's all I watched yesterday. I don't watch anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to see anybody else. To me, this was about her and him and their love story. And that's, I told Belle, you see the highlights of all the other stuff, but to me, I wanted to just take it in with her as pure and real as it is, just in case some people tried to make it political, and I think some people did, but to me, I just thought that was the best way to take that in, and she knocked it out the park. She did. She lived her faith out loud in front of the world yesterday, and I thought it was awesome. I did. Even seeing some people I know who are hardcore on the left, who are pundits, say she was nothing but class. It was nothing but class. Absolute class. And, we're going to go over it throughout some of it today. I know saw Chris in here. Looks like he had his basketball shorts on and from traveling and a nice suit jacket. That's my kind of outfit right there.
Shorts.
Pretty sure he's going to go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, Ken. It's 2 hours, Ken, not 1 hour. Ken got very, very excited about it. Fall sucks, says one person.
Now, 2 o'clock Eastern time is
2 o'clock Eastern time. Okay,
yeah.
You said Middle Tennessee, I think.
Yeah, which will be 1:19 Middle Tennessee time.
Ooh. This is going to be, I'm excited. I love fall. I know some people don't. It's not going to be that ugly. It's going to be beautiful. I love the snow. I love all of it. Coming from a place where I never had any of that.
I just hope that we have a long enough break to where, we can go out in the parking lot and dance around a bonfire without shirts on.
Oh, that'd be nice.
No, you get 72 minutes of it being okay, and then it turns just freaking cold.
Not that cold.
It doesn't turn cold until December.
Till December. We still have 2.5 months before it gets cold, baby. So let's just relax.
I guarantee you we're going to be using our air conditioner on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's because I'm inside. That turkey's just roasting.
It's going to...
Right? That turkey that I spent way too much money on.
It's going to be 74 degrees on Thanksgiving Day. That's my prediction.
So, but 74, that's still nice, though.
Yeah, it'll be humid, though.
Oh,
you still get a bad case of the swamp ass. Thanksgiving
Turkey
swamp ass.
Turkey swamp ass.
Thanksgiving Day swamp
gobble,
ass.
Stinky.
Man, I hate swamp ass. Kid at school got swamp ass. Cats followed him around for a year.
You don't want that, kids. Trust me.
No, you do not.
You do not want that. So I know fall was today. Very excited about it. You can have those pumpkin spice lattes. Take out all those change those doormats of yours to this house, whatever little leaves you want to put on there. This house stops for pumpkin spice lattes. 35 degrees on Halloween. Dancing shirtless. I know.
Well, that's what you got to do to bring whenever you got to do it exactly as the sun crosses the Earth's equator.
Is that what we do?
That will be at 1:19 Middle Tennessee time.
And if you don't, the crops fail.
Yeah. The crops. Yeah, it's going to be...
Speaking of which, I need to check my farm town.
We don't want the crops to fail. Not today. Oh, so crazy. It's one of those weekends. So check this out. I told Belle this. Ken, Friday I get a text from my son's mom. A kid brought a loaded gun to school ready to use it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they'd take him down, and in Mira Mesa, California, they caught him because they thought he might have been involved in another crime, and he came to school and they confronted him, and there was a big fight, and sure enough, he was loaded for bear. Why though? Nobody knows. So I'm like, Jack, was it a gang thing?
Yeah.
Was it? He's like, nobody knows. I mean, they haven't really told us. They just sent out all these emails about, school's on super lockdown. Kids are basically hid away. They've taken the person into custody. Today at school, there was tons of cops and stuff because they're worried about repercussions. And I'm like, it feels like more of a gang thing because they wanted him for another crime.
Yeah.
But, when you're a kid, that still scares the bejesus out of you. And he was a little worried. And I said, yeah, you're going to be fine. There's some nut jobs. But I said, it sounds like a gang because they were following him from another crime that I don't know if it was breaking and entering or something like that. So they were on to him for something. And I don't,
Good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Did you ask him if the kid had any facial tattoos?
I did not. I should have. But the only thing we were told is he was wanted for other crimes in the area. So I don't think I said that seems more like a person that is not so much an angry shooter as a person who is, I said, probably had beef with somebody.
Yeah, targeting.
Yeah.
He had somebody he was targeting.
Yeah. I said, so don't, he said a lot of the kids are nervous because they're not telling them a lot.
Yeah.
Which you can't because it's a youth, but you need to inform some of these kids, hey, look, it's going to be okay. We have no threats to the school, and this wasn't about just coming in and shooting everybody. This was more about, he wanted to kill Timmy, and Timmy wasn't here today. So it was, but, because you don't know at first, and they locked it down, he said. They locked it down. Kids running for cover and stuff, and I said, it's going to be all right. I think you just want to know sometimes because the less that you know, the more you worry about stuff because then it starts running in your mind. What about this? What about that?
It's like you can, instead of having facts, you just throw in conjecture.
Yeah, that's it. And you're living out why this person's here for this or why this person was there for that, why this person. I said it sounded like because he had a handgun, apparently, it sounded like he was there for somebody. And they're not even saying if the kid went to school there, which is another thing. So I said, that's also another thing. It's just scary, though, when you're a kid.
Absolutely.
We had, when I was a kid, we had some kids, some people who brought guns to school. It was totally a different time. It's like, they were like, you're suspended for a week. It was a different, time. But in today's world, because especially since Columbine, this weird world of kids and anger and pissed offness and going to school and doing things, it is this top of them. I never worried about a kid coming back to my school, wherever I was, and shooting up the place because they were angry and pissed. I worried at times, about slow-moving cars at PE, a couple of schools I went to, because it was the time of drive-bys. And we had lots of gangsters at our, school. But I never worried about a kid coming back like they do now. I worried about, earthquakes. We used to have because it was the Cold War, we'd have the duck under your desk just in case a nuclear bomb strikes. So they know where you are, I guess.
Still one of the most ridiculous things that government has ever put out.
Okay, so what exactly happens here? We melt on our desk? Why would I do that? Why don't I just melt here sitting comfortably?
No, this 3/4 inch piece of wood's going to protect you from an atom bomb.
Yeah. It's funny, this guy, or 1803 said when we were kids, we had rifles in the back of windows of our truck. My friend Becky Lynn, she's from Knoxville, and she was our news lady out in Arizona, and she used to say, she has this big Southern accent. She goes, all the kids had guns, back then, in the back of their car.
Yep.
Kind of like Red Dawn.
Oh, yeah, we did it in my little Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, man. Everybody had a gun in their car.
Yeah. So it was it's just a different time where you've got this situation here, though, where it's not about the gun. It's about the instability of the youth. I mean, we've been talking about this kid who killed, Charlie Kirk. How did he twist off, and this furry world that he lived in? I was telling Belle, I mean, how do you get to that point where you think, you know what, you'd be sexier if you were a mouse, a giant mouse with pom-poms? You're like, how do you get to this weird world like this? And the internet takes you into some dark places, and it's scary. You don't worry about stuff like when I was a kid like that. You're worried about maybe fist fight, getting jumped, never really about getting stabbed. But you never worried about somebody twisting off and walking into school and killing a bunch of people.
Nope, didn't even think about it.
Never once did I think about it. Never once. And then after Columbine, it's just like the rise of this, has just grown and grown and grown to the point where I can guarantee you, here we are sitting here in first day of fall in about an hour. But between now and the end of the year, do I think there's probably going to be another school shooting or two? Unfortunately, yes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's no longer if.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's no longer if. And the whole thing is it's just how bad is it? Like even with Charlie Kirk being shot that day in Denver, just outside in Colorado, there was kids shot at a school.
2 kids.
Yeah.
And then the shooter apparently turned the gun on himself.
But because of what happened to Charlie Kirk, that got, and this kid had become radicalized and went down, a rabbit hole of craziness in the dark webs and the worlds that you don't even think about, you can't even see. We've got a real issue here in this country. And I just feel like it's getting worse, and we know where it's at. It's in the internet. It's in a certain area. It's young men who are out of school, young men that are in school. And it is getting worse. And we've got to start addressing this thing in a serious way. Because, I like I said, I have never, ever once in my life been worried about my kids going to school. And now you sit there and go, geez. And even my son was very upset about it because, again, there's, like you said, conjecture. There's all this in your mind. What happened? Why was he here? Could he come back? But it's 24/7. It's nonstop. Like we said, by the end of the year, there will be another shooting. It's not if, but when. And that is a scary situation. Scary, scary situation that we live in, that we've got this many kids who are unstable and have access, which is another, crazy thing. Because mom and dad, too, you guys aren't paying attention out there, right? That your kid's twisting off. You have no idea. Your kid's twisting off. He's pulling back a little bit. I mean, that's another one. A lot of stuff to get to today. We're going to talk a little bit about Erica Kirk. I thought amazing this weekend and what she did. We'll talk about that. Bunch of other stuff. Autism. They believe they've figured it out. Maybe, I don't know. It's very confusing. But
it's Flintstone's
Flintstone
chewable vitamins, right?
If you've been eating too many Barneys, there's a chance your kid's a Barney. I don't know what it is. I mean, I have no idea. It's Tylenol. It's an interesting thing, and they think they may have something that could help it. That's a cancer medication. We'll talk about that because that's a big deal, especially as the spectrum has widened, and now what's it, 1 out of every 35 kids or something, depending on what study you're looking at, says that they have autism of some sort. Talk about that, among other things. Reach out to us across all of our social media. Happy Monday, everybody. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Oh, the data centers. Talk about a succubus. Data centers and crypto mining. Talk about just eating energy like you could not believe. Just energy. Go look at some of these places in like little rural Texas where they buy 500,000 square feet and all they have in there are just servers, crypto mining and just pulling energy from everywhere. And the data mining for AI, because AI needs such a huge, vast amount of power. I mean, it's going to be good that it creates some jobs, but at the same time, if everybody around there, if your energy prices go through the roof, that's not cool. I got a job that pays $35 an hour. Great. It's like $25 a kilowatt hour now for me to get some air conditioning.
Yeah.
And that's the, I expect it at some point in time to come down. I mean, it's great news in some areas, but know that these things, it takes so much energy. It's the kind of energy that makes, Greta Thunberg stay up at night. Just how dare you?
How dare you?
I don't know. How dare we? I'm sorry about that. What happened to your hair? Oh, this is going to be, it's going to be interesting. I want to see what this looks like, because I've seen some of this stuff when they build these things, and it's a nondescript building, and they're like, yeah, that sucks all the energy out of the town. You're like, yikes. You're hoping, though, in the future, as AI advances, that AI will tell us how to make energy more efficient. Should be one of the first things that it does. It's like, hey, how do we make it so it's easier to run you? What's that look like? Oh, yeah.
Well, I never thought about that.
Yeah, nobody's ever thought about that. So how about 300 to 400 million gallons to cool the systems?
Yeah, it says Goldman Sachs projects AI's share of data center power demand will grow to 27% by 2027.
That's crazy. 0583 says, I don't want us doing anything to encourage data centers in Tennessee. They're driving our electricity prices up astronomically. They are.
Well, that's the thing, man. And, are we talking about rolling blackouts and things like that, man?
Gosh.
I mean,
I've been there. If you guys, now, we didn't have any this year, really. Did you guys have any before, like over the years?
We had a couple of Christmases ago, and it just happened to be like 2 degrees everywhere in Tennessee. And in order to save, make sure there wasn't a total blackout, Tennessee Valley Authority asked all of its distributors, the utilities that buy power from them, to impose little blackouts, 15 to 20 minutes here and there.
Oh.
Unfortunately, for some people, though, the power did not come back on for a while in some areas.
It's gross. I've been in some of those, where it's like, all right, we're going to have a rolling blackout. It's going to be from the time you're home till the time you wake up tomorrow. Then you can turn your air on for a little bit while you go to work. And you're like, what? Yeah, keep it at 82 degrees. Don't use your water. Don't go outside. Stay indoors. But it's weird. Brownouts. We used to call them brownouts and blackouts.
Yeah. I remember in our home, the power went out. We'd already, cut it back. I mean, we were keeping our heat at about 68 degrees. And we went through probably about a 20-minute blackout. And, I mean, the temperature got down to 58 in that time. But, it was freezing that Christmas. We were under it was a nasty Arctic snap.
Yeah. No, it's coming. I mean, it's when you can't have all of this. And think about it. We're not using AI even close to where it's going to be. And already the energy is huge. And then you throw in the crypto stuff, too, which is massive amounts of energy. Somebody says, why not do nuclear? Nuclear would be great, but nobody wants nuclear to their next door to their house.
Don't forget all the lighting for all the weed hydroponics.
Oh, that's right.
That eats up a lot of energy.
Yeah, there you go. Look at this. It's all happening, kids. It's all happening right here.
Need new strains of weed that don't need us.
That's right. We need some
light.
weed for the AI. Got some of that? Mm-hmm. But the nuclear, I'm a huge proponent of nuclear. Everybody's terrified of it. Nobody wants it next door to them. So that's always a big problem. Let's build all these amazing things. Let's do these. Let's have this. It's going to be great. We're going to build. Nobody wants it next door to their house. So you got to go somewhere in the middle of godforsaken nowhere where it's not going to bother anybody. There's no worry that if something cracked or something seeped into the ground, you need a magical kingdom.
Probably somewhere in the Dakotas, maybe?
Yeah, I would assume. There's nothing going on out there.
Especially during the winter.
No, God, no. The Badlands and all that stuff, no thank you. Woo! They call it that for a reason. All right, coming up, we'll go over some of the stuff that took place yesterday. Charlie Kirk's memorial is the, just really what Erica did that I thought was just amazing. We'll talk a bit about that. Also, the cost of the American dream has gone up. Wait till you hear how much it is to have the American dream. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. So obviously yesterday, Charlie Kirk, the memorial. If you're the left and you're watching this and you're seeing all the amount of people that were there, you got to sit there and go, we have nobody on our side that has that kind of reach. And yes, because of the fact that he was assassinated, that does play into it. Like we talked about last week, you know, if he had a heart attack or it was a car crash, would it be as big? Probably not. But still, it would be huge because you realize what kind of reach that Charlie had. And there was a lot. I watched some of a lot of the highlights, but I watched her live, and she was awesome. I mean, it was listening to her because I wanted to hear from her. Because we've heard outside of that first night, we've heard from everybody else, and everybody else is in front of the cameras, but she's trying to live with this moment by moment and what it was like to be in that situation. And if you've lost somebody instantly, I mean, you understand what it's like.
I felt everything you would expect to feel. I felt shock. I felt horror and a level of heartache that I didn't even know existed.
This was not a situation where somebody was dying of cancer or a disease, and you had your times where you had moments where you could say goodbye and you knew the end was coming and you were surrounded. This was 1 minute your husband's there, and the next minute you will never laugh with him, hold him, kiss him, be anything other than a memory. And it is tough. Anybody who's lost somebody, suddenly you realize, oh, I could have said this, I could have done that, I could have said. But this wasn't a loss even as somebody who had a heart attack. This was somebody who was taken away from his wife, his kids, his family in a second. But they lived their faith out loud, which is amazing. It really is. And while there was a lot of other stuff going on, and like the Stephen Miller speech, and some of the other ones, Belle and I were listening to it. It was just like, whoa, it's like a little over the top, don't you think? Just a smidge?
Yeah, just a smidge.
It totally different though with her. With her, you could feel the emotion in the class.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
So, and that right there was just absolute class. Absolute class. And again, it's watching her, because here's the tough part, and anybody who's lost somebody in an instant, the first several days, week or two, there's so much going on. And with Charlie, it was extra big because of the way it happened and all that stuff. But now, over the next week or two, everybody gets back to life. And you start to realize, oh, this is real, because it's so fresh and it's so new and the sting is still there. And now it starts to get, you start to feel what is left behind. And I remember when my dad died. So my dad just dropped dead one day. That was it. 36 years old, dead. We went out the night before. My buddy Raymond and I and my dad, we got pizza. I was supposed to have a soccer game that day. And rain was so bad, it was canceled. So we got some food. He came home, told me he loved me, dropped me off with my mom. And We got a call the next day that he was gone, just like that. You don't get, there's no like other moments. What about, there's any of that stuff. But then for the subsequent, the shock, and then the subsequent week or so after that, getting stuff ready and all of that stuff. And then you go, and then what happens is life gets back to normal. And you have to get into that. And those are the moments where there's so much going on around you that it takes away from all this stuff. And I think this is what's coming. And because of Turning Point, she's going to be able to take that and to grow with it, which will be good. It is, again, the whole thing is a nightmare. And the fact that these things we should have no part of this in our country. That's not who we are. That's what we always say. But in reality, how many people have tried to kill the presidents? We had 47 presidents. How many times have they been shot at? Tried to be poisoned, attacked. Politics is in today's world, it's dangerous. We shouldn't be that way. We're not some third world banana republic where you see somebody like Pablo Escobar is like, all right, there's 16 people that are running to be president. 12 of them said they would absolutely extradite me, so we're going to get rid of them. It's not that's not who we are. But we're becoming that way. We're so fractured. We've got this weird lone wolf thing going on. The 70s were insane. And I've been talking about that for weeks. People don't realize how bad the 70s were. I mean, you go and look at how many crazy things happened in the 70s where they were blowing up stuff all the time. Was it 1 in 5, every 5 days, there was some sort of bomb? The Weather Underground and they kidnapped, they took Patty Hearst and then they made her a bank robber. But, all these crazy things, Black September. It's not as bad as you think. The problem is those were groups that were, you knew who they were. Here it's just, you've got lone wolves, which are scary as can be. And then watching people try to figure out how to put Charlie into a certain thing. If you're on the left, you had to hate Charlie, right? If you're on the right, you had to. Charlie was a man who lived his faith, said some stuff for some people that was very controversial. But when you talk to people who knew him, who debated him, they'll tell you that he was the real deal. This is Cenk Uygur, who debated him on numerous occasions, talking about, hey, look, he wasn't what you thought he was.
Yeah, Charlie came on our show at the RNC, then at the DNC, and we had a surprisingly productive conversation. My whole life, when I talked to Republicans, they would have talking points from Fox News, and it would just be like hitting a ball against the wall. There was no point to it. But when Charlie and I had those conversations, and my co-host on the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, as well, it was productive. There were things that we disagreed on. Almost every part of the culture war we disagree on. What we think is divisive speech, we would argue over. But when it came to some economic issues, the corruption in this country, housing prices being far too high, and how we could ban private equity from buying our homes, there was a surprising, even shocking agreement. Then he invited me to America Fest, which is the big program that he puts together. And that's the thing with Charlie. His actions, let me put it this way. His speech was not inclusive, but his actions were. So he would consistently ask people on the left to come join him and give them an open forum. And even on, not just on the things we agreed on, but also on the things we disagreed on. And we had a personal interaction there, and including with his wife, Erica, and they were all incredibly warm. So it's a paradox, but that was the paradox of Charlie.
Because he liked it. He liked the conversation. He liked the debate. Because without the debate, without the conversation, without being able to have a true conversation, you're never going to give people the opportunity to see where you're coming from. And which is important. It's the most important thing. If everybody wants to win the debate, you're not going to win the debate at that moment in time. What you want to do is figure out how you plant seeds. And Charlie did that. He gave people opportunities to debate him, to give their best shot to him, and vice versa. And that's how you plant seeds. Very few of these people that ended up going yesterday who were at one time on the left, or very few of these people who you see, heading to church or doing some of these, those were seeds that were planted over time through debate, through conversation. And that takes time. And when you watch Charlie, even when he used to debate, he'd have conversations, and Bell sent me something, and we'll try to pull it out a little bit later. It was just, everybody talks about how much he hated the gays, and it was this guy who got up there and basically said to him, you're not really a Christian because of this, this, and this about the gays and about trans. And he's like, sorry, no, I don't hate anybody. I reject what you're saying about this way that you're looking at stuff. That's wrong. That's not what we do as Christians. And those things get left out because, yes, did he say some stuff that was controversial? It's a business. Hello. Here's the thing. I piss a lot of you off on both sides of the aisle. You know what I'm doing? My job. I'm making you think, and that's what I want. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm giving you a perspective that maybe you haven't heard. If you're not pissing people off in some way, shape, or form, you're not doing your job. Because a lot of times, just giving people information that they don't want to hear, not even saying something that is outrageous, makes people angry and gets people fired up. That's good. It's good that we have that. But we should have the conversation from there. Why do you see it this way? Why? Giving people platforms. And I know there were people out there, especially on the right, in particular Israel and stuff, with Dave Smith, with several others that were not happy the fact that Charlie gave people opportunities to get on stage and have true conversations in a way that it angered a lot of people. And he was having trouble with the uppers and the raising money folks who didn't like the way that Charlie was going. And I think at his heart, he was looking and seeing what's going on in certain areas, felt uncomfortable about it. And he had a younger generation that, one's funding it, the other's the future. That's a tough place to be if they're diametrically opposed to one another. It's a tough place to walk. And I think that she is going to take it and run with it in a major way. And he did, he set a foundation. Like I've said, I do not for a second think that Trump would be in the White House if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk and this way that he planted stuff, that especially in the culture war side of stuff, because that's what we're really talking about. We're not talking about dollars and cents and any of that stuff. So much of what was won was the culture war. How many times have you heard, this is why Trump? Because so much of it was the culture war. And Charlie planted those seeds a long time ago. Absolutely. So I thought it was again, I watched her portion of it. I saw a lot of highlights from the others. I wanted it to be something about, my wife and I sat there and watched that portion of it because as a father, as a husband, those kind of things, I think it was important. I had several friends there sending me stuff. I had a couple friends who just went, who were on the left, by the way, super left. One of them was very, very left. The other one's kind of apolitical, but they got up at 4 a.m. and went. And they said, we don't know why we're going. And they were shocked about just how nice everybody was and what kind of atmosphere it was. All right, coming up, I want to get to this. Next hour, we got to get to the nature, man. Nature's all over the place doing things that scaring people. Although this certain death was kind of one of those nature, this is why you don't do these things, deaths. We'll talk a bit about that. Fat Bear Week's coming up. And the cost of the American dream. Let us know what you think it is. You can text the program. Tell us what you think the cost of the American dream is. It is insane. We'll talk about that, among other things. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7. So, Ken, check this out.
Yeah?
Big boss comes up today and says, hey, what's going on, guys? We're like, hey, what's up? And
big boss.
The big boss downstairs, big boss.
Okay.
You were talking to her right before.
Allison.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So Allison comes up and says, hey, what's going on, Belle? How you doing? Belle goes, hey, you're looking great. You're looking fit, slim. She's like, thanks. She goes, he goes, you don't have to lie. She goes, good, because I don't want to lie. And I thought, oh, man. And then she tells a story. So then it's my turn to get hammered. She tells a story. She's like, yeah, so my husband, when I was where was it? Cool Springs? Where was it? Was that Spring Hill?
Spring Hill.
Spring Hill?
Yeah.
One of the neighbors of the house that they have out there started talking about, I don't even watch TV anymore. I just watch this thing. He starts talking about WTN and didn't know. And said, I love everybody on the station. Even that Chad's okay or whatever she said. He's like, he's acceptable. I'm like, nice.
A little backhanded compliment.
Compliment. He's like, yeah, you don't suck that much. So there's that.
I love everybody on the station, Chad.
Yeah, Chad's okay too. He's all right. Like, I won't change it.
I think she said that he said, I even sort of like that Chad guy, too.
Yeah, sort of like that Chad guy. That's going to be our new thing. Hey, sort of like us. We're okay with it. I just love the fact she's, oh, good, I don't want to lie.
If they only had a sort of like button.
That's right. I'm okay with a sort of like button. I'm okay. Do I entertain? That's what matters. Right? Like, we got our fun stuff here that we do every week. We got tons of stuff. I tell everybody, for all the chaos that goes on, Hot Take Tuesday, and when we do, next week we're going to do Thankful Thursday. I got that from Ken, because he did a great Bible verse the other day. Did you memorize that yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I'm not a very good I just whenever I pray, it's always like, thank you, God. Thanks. And I want to praise God more. And so these prayers for me help me out.
I like that.
I do that.
That was awesome. So we do Thankful Thursday, but we got our one-hit wonder wins. And we do all kinds of fun stuff because this is what we care about. We care about life and fun. And if we're okay to you guys, okay, we're good with that too. Hey, you guys are okay. You guys are kind of out of shape and okay.
Right.
I'm getting that on a shirt. America, yeah. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program, we're going to talk about the cost of the American dream. Wait till you hear this. As well as autism. Have they solved the mystery? And we are, 13 minutes away, something like that, from fall.
Yeah, it looks like, 19 minutes.
19 minutes from fall, kids.
Right here in Middle Tennessee.
Be prepared. It's coming fast and furious. Woo! Get your jackets. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.